Hello, welcome to today's video where we're going to have a look at my cheap Volkswagen transporter. Let's go. So I recently bought this Volkswagen T5. It'd be a bit of a day van, adventure van, get the mountain bikes in the back of it. Just a handy all round vehicle to have. As you can see, it's got its issues. I don't think there's one panel on this van that is not either rusty, dented, faded, scratched, or the wrong colour, as you can see. So yeah, we're gonna have a wee look around and see what's all wrong with it. Let's go. As you see, wings dented, corroded. Something going on there. That's just dirt. Cells are looking a bit worse for wear too, but I mean they're solid. And of course we've got a black door. This door's been taken from another van, so a Caravelle maybe. And I think that's maybe where the wheels have originated. Because this guy that I bought the van from had quite a lot of spares going with it. Big dent in the door as well there. Looks like we've got a bit of damage to the window trim here, which I just noticed. Look at that lovely touch-up job there. Can you see that? Wow. Some dented and scratched quarter panel. Nice rusty bit in the sill there. And some new discs and pads on the back. And we can also see the faded paintwork. This used to be a builder's van. Get round to the back here. Someone's been doing some kind of repair job here. Got a tow bar and a lot of dents. Both rear doors dented. Oh yeah, that's a beauty. Look at that. That's what they call character. A lovely big dent scratch there. Blister in there. So bit scabby. This wing is looking a bit sorry for itself as well. Quite a big dent there. Rotten in that corner. Get around to the front of the van. Don't think the front bumper's damaged. Or maybe I spoke too soon. Looking a bit there, a bit cracked there. And this is just a basic van. There's no frills, no fog lights, anything like that. Also, what I didn't notice until I was driving home, that mirror is a lot smaller than that mirror. Don't know if that's a thing, if that's how they're supposed to be. I just noticed a big rusty spot on the roof there. Probably started off life as a stone chip and then just gotten worse. Inside the cabin, and look, we've got luxury windy windows. You got your 3 seats, get a bit of a clean. Bit missing off that door handle. A few scratches for good measure. A broken vent, lovely. A self-closing glove box. 6-speed in this one. Barely run in, 138k. Did want to show you this cool little trick. Put the ignition on. Now your wipers are on this stalk here, as they normally would be. And to operate your washers, you would pull that towards you, but no washers. So I did notice this little button around here. Push that. There we go. We've got washers. So they're not working off the stock, but someone's wired them into a little button. So that's something we're going to have to look at. Wouldn't be so bad if they wired it into a button at this side, because then you could have like push a button while still having your hand on the wheel and working the washers. First off, we've got a broken check strap, so the door will not stay open in itself, just the rust in the hinges, keeping that from closing on you. And open this door. And the same at this side. So here we go, here's the back. What we've got here is ply lining. So the previous owner started to get the ply lining done. He's got the roof done. I've just popped in the lights there because the wires were hanging down. So the idea, the plan is to just ply line these panels so I have them able to be removable, because I intend doing some wiring in the back of the van eventually. But just to clean things up in the meantime, I think I'll continue and finish off what they started. And we've also got a load of spare bits in the back here. So we've got the spare wheel carrier, which should be on underneath the vehicle, but it's not, because it's rotten. Also the under tray, I'll have to look at putting back on at some point. We've got a spare door card for some reason, and some various other bits and bobs. Yeah, so this van, I bought this from a gentleman up in the Black Isle a few weeks ago, and he was working on it as a project with his son and grandson. They were going to have days out fishing trips and camping and throw the bikes in the back and everything. But unfortunately, like a lot of projects, they lose momentum and lose interest and people move on. So this van came up for sale. I disregarded it for a start because obviously you can see the condition the bodywork's in. But I thought, I was actually away looking at another van, and that was a no-go. It was, I had big mechanical problems, and I thought, this van seems to be, all the mechanical work seems to be pretty much done. There is a few bits and bobs, but I thought this was a more of a doable van than that other one. The previous owner got this van for free. He got it for free. It cost him absolutely nothing. But he did a lot of work on it. He replaced the dual mass flywheel and the clutch, which is quite an expensive job in itself. Various other suspension and brakes to get an MOT on it, and he got it driving, running on the road, and he had it for a couple of years, and hence the start of this, doing the ply lining. We were going to line it out in the back and start using it. But things change, as I say, projects lose momentum, so the van came up for sale. So it's been up for sale for a while because I noticed it over the last few months. So I disregarded it for a start because I've seen the different coloured door and I've seen in the pictures, and I thought, that looks a bit rough. But the more I read into it, I thought, it's worth going for a look. Went and had a look at it, had to drive it, and I thought, this van feels pretty damn good to drive. Everything feels how it should do, drives nice, the clutch obviously felt good. And he came down a bit in his price, and I was like, okay, because I knew he had it advertised for a while. It's got 6-7 months MOT on it still at this point. Yeah, I decided to do a deal with him, and yeah, it's been good. The last few weeks I've been doing a few maintenance jobs on it myself. I did a full engine service on the van. I've replaced the rear disc and pads because, as you've seen there, the boxes of stuff I've taken out, the previous owner had a lot of spare parts, new parts, and I think this has been parts, there's been a van breaking for spares, because this is a van with the window in it. It's come off a Caravelle, obviously all the wheels, some other bits and bobs, the boxes of all the spare trim parts, which I haven't had time to go through yet. Like I say, I've done the discs and pads, a caliper on there, because that was sticking, but he had a new one supplied. Replaced the rear wheel bearing. He had 2 supplied as well, new wheel bearings, Gen 2 wheel bearings. Had a bit of an issue doing this back one. I bought a tool for doing it on the van, broke the tool, and then tried to get a replacement part. It got lost in the mail, so to make up our own replacement part, and we got it done. Got it back on the road. Other issues mechanically wise, as I showed you, the rear catch is there, bonnet catch is a bit sticky as well, so it might need replacing. I've also replaced the handbrake cables, rear brake hoses as well. They're pretty damn cheap for all the parts for these things now. You're speaking £10 for a cable, £10 for a brake hose, if that. And I thought, well, I'm in there, I might as well just doing all that, because the cable was offering to fray, the ferrules and the brake hose were offering to corrode, so you're just as well replace when you're there, and then when it comes to MOT time, I know everything's sound there for all the cost. The only other thing is you get a vibration from the ABS and now and then, and I think it's the front left wheel bearing is a slight play in it. So I think the bearing is moving away from the ABS sensor and causing the ABS to kick in, thinking that the wheel's locking up or whatever. So that's something I'll have to look at. But otherwise, it's all serviced, tyres are all good, MOTs on it, it's all good to go. I'll run down the cost so far for the van. I'll have to consult my list here. So we've covered the van cost initially £2,980 for the van. To do the engine service and the rear brakes, taking into the fact that the caliper was supplied new with the van, so it's no cost. But the service and the brakes came to £180. The handbrake cables came to a grand total of £30. The rear brake hoses came to a total of £18. The tool for doing the rear wheel bearing, which will also do the front wheel bearings in this one as well, is £35. I also had to replace the ABS sensor, that back corner, it was £19.61. And I also replaced the engine mount that goes onto the subframe to the back of the engine, because there was a lot of play in it, and I noticed when you're in traffic, you're taking the clutch, the engine was rocking back and forth. So I replaced that for a total of £65.30. And if you take in insurance and road tax on top of that, was an extra £335 to road tax this van for a year. And for me, for insurance, it's 250 quid I got insurance for this van. So that takes me to a grand total of £3,912.91 on the road. So I'm quite happy with that. There's a few other bits and bobs obviously I'm going to need to do. The plan is to get the last of the mechanicals done, and then we're going to get the back of here kitted out, get some ply lining done, get a rack for some mountain bikes, maybe get an inverter set up with a leisure battery so we can have power to charge up the bikes, charge up anything. Yeah, and we'll get some adventures in it. Stay tuned and we'll see you on the next one.